What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Speak On It with your host Dom and Biv. Um, Sports Talk Friday. Sports Talk Saturday. We're gonna do a pick'em. Um, college football, uh, basketball, college football, and regular football. But we got a lot to talk to y'all about. We got a fight tonight. We got the NBA schedule. A couple NBA signings, a trade that happened. So, without further ado, let your friends know that we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Um, and let's jump into it. Uh, I'm gonna start with the 80. Let's backtrack. Let's start with the trade because that happened a couple of days ago. Um, I know you talked about uh we talked about it briefly how you thought like that backcourt was going to be huge, and I gave you pushback a little bit. But as I had to sit and reflect on it for 2 days, I'm like, man, that Bradley Beal, Russell Westbrook backcourt, they can give you 60 a night. Both of them can give you 60 a night, and that's gonna cause you problems. And like you said, they got Thomas Bryant. Um, they got a couple of other pieces. They got Rui, Hashimura, and they got the who I thought was the fourth best player in the draft last year. This coming draft. Um, who was like a Peja Stojakovic type, but he plays defense. I think Washington actually got something in the works. They got something nice going on with that backcourt. Um, and like you said, in the East, they can give a couple teams problems with that backcourt. Shoot, Washington was tough last year with number 5 offense last year.
Like I said, man, Bradley Beal by himself had them in playoff contention. You add an all-star point guard, I believe that the expectations were going to be not necessarily championship for Washington with John Wall, but if you weren't fighting for at least home court in the first round, then something was wrong. Now you add Russell Westbrook. I just feel like that same expectation should be there. I don't on paper they're not better than Brooklyn. Outside of that, with that backcourt, I think they can contend with anybody in the East.
Like one of the things you just said is like on paper they're not better than Brooklyn. But one thing I'll say is that as much as you knock Russell Westbrook, people knock Russell Westbrook, it's really his game. As far as that holds him back because he's not really a shooter. But everything else, he's gonna give you everything, every night.
Russell Westbrook to me, and I've said this for years, is a 2. He doesn't have a point guard's mentality. His basketball IQ and decision making is questionable at times, and then in other times it's just flat out horrible. So I always felt like he was better off the ball, just as far as the decision making aspect of it. But when he is on, he's on. He's one of the better players in the league. I'm gonna respect him at that. But he's got to make better decisions. But he brings a champion. He's been to the finals. He has championship experience. He didn't win it, but he's been to the finals before. He's played with big name players. So none of that is really going to matter to him. I just feel like he's bringing something that they haven't had in Washington, which is an edge.
I think like a couple of things you just said, right? He's played with big name players. We've seen how he wouldn't defer to KD and how that played out. And then we've seen how when he got Paul George and Melo, how he deferred and try to make Paul George this superstar. And we've seen it happen. Paul George under Westbrook, Paul George had his best season, MVP type season. And I think he deferred a lot to James Harden a lot last year. And this year he said he wants to be more on ball, more of that leader type point guard. And I think that Bradley Beal is going to benefit from that largely. I think Russell Westbrook wants to He wants to showcase that he's a leader. He wants to showcase that he's a point guard. He wants to showcase that he could make Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal might be into the MVP conversation if they can have the wins. If they can have the wins to couple with the productivity that they're about to put out, I think he can do what he did with Paul George. Because I think when I look at that that Washington team, I think it's comparable to that OKC team. I know they have Paul George, but Thomas Bryant, Steven Adams. I like Thomas Bryant over Steven Adams. Thomas Bryant got a little offensive game. Can get you a couple buckets. Rui Hachimura. I like Rui. Bradley Beal can give you 30 a night, which he did last year. Paul George did that same thing. You know what I mean? So they're not gonna have that defensive edge like they had with OKC because Paul George was a two-way monster. But I think that team is comparable.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be pretty good. I think they're gonna be pretty good.
What you?
Just like I said with Tampa, that Bruce Arians was their weakest link. Scotty Brooks will be Washington's weakest link.
Hey, listen. Right, if anybody can get the best out of Russell Westbrook, it's that guy. I'm not gonna knocking him. Russell Westbrook's MVP year came under that guy. You know what I mean? So, and listen, when they went to the finals, it was a coach, Scotty Brooks. For some reason, somehow, some way, he gets the most out of it.
Maybe that's what Scotty Brooks been missing. Is Russell Westbrook in Washington? Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
He get the most out of Russ for some reason, some way, somehow. You know what I mean?
We'll have to wait and see.
Now the other end of that trade was John Wall going to Houston. I'm gonna tell you, as I thought about it, if James Harden does stay, the team can be exciting. I don't think he's staying. I think he's out, regardless of outside of maybe a Giannis Antetokounmpo or Steph Curry, somebody like that coming to play with him. I think he's fed up with the Rockets organization, and I just really think it's just time. I think the Rockets have tried to bring in players to try to help James win, and again, I think that they just ran into monster teams. That it is what it is. They ran into outside of the Kawhi Leonard less Spurs. They ran into historically great teams. They ran into historically great teams. So I think that it's just time, maybe just to let him go and rebuild and allow him to go chase a ring. And I think that's what his mindset is. I've done everything I can do in Houston. I've chased the ring. I mean, I'm trying to chase a ring now. And we see that with him turning down $50 million per year. We see that. That's his mindset. He's trying to chase a ring. There's a couple other factors I think that as to why he wants out, because I know he wanted Ty Lue as his coach, and then he wanted John Lucas as his coach, and they brought in John Silas, and they brought in Stephen Silas. If your superstar wants something, you gotta go get it. That's what I'm gonna say. If he say I want Ty Lue, go get Ty Lue. If he say I want John Lucas, go get John Lucas. We see KD got his coach. I think KD had a huge saying in Steve Nash being his coach because they had a relationship. KD got his coach. If your superstar wants something, you gotta go get it.
Yeah, I think it's time for them to move on with James Harden. They've tried everything at this point. They bought in wings, they bought in bigs, they bought in point guards, and it's not worked. So he wants out. I think you should move on from him. You still have him under contract, so you can still get something from him, for him at least. So definitely time to move on. But he's got to take some of that blame too for some of the failures. Like he's lost some series that he didn't show up, and the team around him was good enough to win. So whatever, it didn't work there in Houston. He's still one of the best players in the league, and he can help any team win. So
Do,
Get him out of there.
do you think that John Wall, if John Wall comes back and to be John Wall, you think that's enough to say, all right, we can move on from James, get a bunch of picks, and still be exciting because we got a superstar in John Wall?
I don't think the rest of that team is that good, honestly. If you move on from James Harden,
I'm with you.
Eric Gordon is wishy-washy.
I'm moving him too.
We're not sure what Boogie is gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Christian Wood is good, but is he second best player on championship team good?
And I
No,
think
I don't think so.
I think that what you're saying. I think that if they move James Harden, well, let's be honest. James Harden and Russell Westbrook, they didn't win a championship. James Harden and Chris Paul wasn't. They were close. No championship. I mean, again, like I said, they ran into good teams. They ran into teams, but those teams were built to win championships. But they weren't. They just the only time they had a legit chance was the Chris Paul year. I think 18. Outside of that, they haven't had a legit chance. So at what point do you say, you know what? It's just I'm not trying to win a championship at this point. Right now, I've cut my losses. I got rid of Russ. I'm gonna get rid of James, and then I'm gonna have a bridge with Christian Woods and John Wall where we are going to be in the playoffs. But we know that championship is not the expectations. And let's be real, like Steven Silas just got there. Give him some time. You know what I mean, to build the team in his image. You know what I mean? So it shouldn't automatically just be championship or bust, because like I said, if he still had Russ and John and James Harden together this year, would you say that they were a top 6 team in the West? If he still had that team with the additions, I wouldn't say they were a top 6 team in the West. I wouldn't say that they had a legit chance.
I don't know.
Even Vegas said they didn't have a legit. I think they had them 16-1.
I would say they would be fighting for a 7th, 8th seed. You know, I feel like Dallas got better. I feel like Portland got better. I feel like Phoenix got better. I felt like a lot of teams got better. I just felt like Houston pretty much stayed the same. And then you lose a guy like Austin Rivers, you know, Covington. Like, they lost some pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They lost some pieces. And I think that's one of the reasons also why James wants out.
Yeah.
Like, so
like you said,
move James Harden and get whatever you can get for him to put yourself in a position to move forward.
Houston front office is delusional. That's what I'm gonna say. They're delusional because I know they won a championship. Y'all won a championship. That's the goal. But don't be delusional. Like, for years they chased the Warriors. That's what they was doing, chasing the Warriors to win this championship, and that's why they kept moving pieces. That ship has sailed. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, maybe they need a OKC-esque type overhaul, like where you're gonna get all those draft picks and all those pieces to build for the future. Or
they didn't.
Well, they can't. It can't be like San Antonio with Kawhi, because Kawhi only had 1 year left on his deal.
They didn't do that. They traded basically a player for a player.
They got the first rounder. They got the first rounder from Washington in the deal. So, but with James Harden, they gonna need that haul. They're gonna need that.
That's the way you get all of those draft picks. I want draft picks for him.
Absolutely. I want draft picks. I'm with you. I want draft picks. I want at least what OKC gave for Paul George, because I think James Harden is a better player than Paul George. So I want that. I want what OKC gave me for Paul George. And I'm gonna tell you, I know James holds all the cards, but I'll take Brooklyn. Brooklyn, okay, that's what you want. Or the Sixers, that's what you want. I need 5. I need 5 to start. 5 first rounders to start. That's what Paul George got. The Paul George trading game got me 5 first rounders. I need 5 first rounders.
We'll see.
And I need Spencer Dinwiddie, and I need all of it. I need all of it. If that's what James Harden wants to do.
Because if you don't, because you're not going to give me KD or Kyrie, you're not going to give up either one of those guys. Brooklyn is not going to do that. So if Brooklyn really wants him, you're gonna have to spend something.
Yeah. No. So, let me ask you this, and then we can move on to like the schedule. But in Philly, would Tobias Harris, whose contract is $34 million a year, 5 first rounders, Matisse Thybulle, something like that, would that be enough to entice? Because you get into is the Tobias Harris move more appealing than the Spencer Dinwiddie, or who's the best player in that package? Will it be Caris LeVert? Will Caris LeVert be the best player in that package?
Yes.
Okay, so would a package surrounding Tobias Harris or a package surrounding Caris LeVert, which one is more intriguing?
Probably the Caris LeVert. I think we know who Tobias Harris is.
Gotcha. So yeah,
that's the only reason. If Tobias was even living up close to that contract that he has, it would be Tobias. But he's nowhere near living up to that contract. Where Caris LeVert, you can still see that he can ascend and he could potentially be the second or third best player on a championship team.
My thing is, I'm with you with it. We'll see. I will see what Tobias Harris be this year, but I've seen Spencer Dinwiddie, and I can't say that because I've seen Tobias Harris put this team in the playoffs too, before when he was with the Clippers. You know what I mean? So, I think that playing with Joel and Ben, Tobias gets overshadowed a little bit because he's playing with that. But he was that guy. He was the go-to guy on that Clippers team. Just like Caris LeVert was the go-to guy when on that Nets team when he took them to the playoffs. I think twice. I mean, so it's intriguing. It is intriguing. I think those are the two teams that we have him penciled in going. Nothing just popped in my head. I'll ask you real quick before we move forward. Do you think that there can be a sleeper team, a third team that we could possibly see James Harden go to? Outside of those two. That's going to meet everything that he wants, which is be a champion, be that other guy, superstar, and it's automatically going to help the team in championship contention.
I don't know, because when you look around the league, what is James? Is he a 1? Is he a 2? How are you going to use him? I think that is the most important thing, is the fit to the team to which he's going to. Because if he's going to be a 2, he can't go to a ball-dominant point guard team. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that is what's intriguing with him, is how is he going to be used, because his usage rate is always so high. So I think that's important to see. So I'm not really sure. There are not a lot of teams out there, in my opinion, that could use his services, because he's so unique.
I'm gonna give you
he's
one.
Not just gonna fit anywhere.
I'm gonna give you one. I think it's a perfect fit. Comes to mind, and it's Milwaukee. It's Milwaukee. I think him and Giannis can play off well with each other. They got pick and roll game. They have the matching contracts. If you give up Chris Middleton and a slew of picks.
But what about what Giannis said?
What? He wants to be the best guy?
No, that he didn't. Remember in the All-Star game?
Yeah.
Because he said he don't play no defense.
Hey, listen, Giannis, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, Giannis, and I think he coming around to it as well. Giannis, you've been knocked out. You've been the best team in basketball for the past 2 seasons. You won back-to-back MVPs. You got knocked out after going up 2-0 against Toronto, and they shielded you off. And then you got knocked out in the second round. I picked you to lose in the first round to Orlando because of what I saw. What I saw that Miami did to you. They can't do that with James Harden on your team, good brother. I'm sorry. They ain't walling nothing off with James Harden on your team. James Harden will make Giannis Antetokounmpo better. And defensively,
Chris Middleton. You give me Chris Middleton. You give me Dante. In a couple first rounders. We can talk business. We can talk business.
I like it. Because, like you said, it's not a full reset. You're getting Chris Middleton, who's an all-star. I think he's like 27, 28, something like that. And he can score. You got John Wall with him, with a bunch of picks. Not a full reset. You're still competing. I like it. I like it. Yeah, I mean, I think that'll be a perfect fit for him. I don't know if James wants to go there, but I think it'll be a good fit. All right, moving on. Right, so the NBA announced its schedule. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it yet. I'm gonna pull it up the schedule. We talked briefly about the two things that we rolled out, which is opening day, and Christmas Day. There was some other big games, marquee games that I liked that stood out to me when they did the schedule release. One, like I said, I'm a Philly fan, so opening day for Philly, that one stood out to me because it's Russ coming in, Bradley Beal coming back, Russell Westbrook coming to Philly. So that I love that matchup with the schedule. There's some other ones like the MLK Day games was huge. They got a 10 slate game with a 10 day game, a 10 game day with the MLK Day that stood out to me. But I'll say this before while we bring up the schedule. This is what we talked about a little bit behind the scenes with Toronto having to play in Tampa. Let's touch on that briefly while we bringing up the schedule. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's going to be tough for them just because it's not home. So it's going to be almost like living on the road, not just traveling. You know, even if you go on like a 7-game road stretch, you eventually come home, and you might be only gone for 2 weeks. We're talking about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be tough on them. Just the adjustment of that, and just being honest, just not being on your home floor, and it's feeling like it's a neutral site takes away from any type of home court advantage that you could potentially have.
Like you said, and I said it. When movies in the studio is they could possibly sign a 3-month lease, but would you do that? Like, to me, that's just wasting money. I mean, to sign a 3-month lease when I know I'm not necessarily going to be here. I'm not living here. Like, I'm only going to be here for maybe 2 days, right? I might be here for two days, and then I'm back on the road again. So for me, it's like that would be, just a waste of money to do that. But then the other hand is, well, I'm going to be staying at hotels. You know what I mean? How comfortable is that? I'm basically going to be living out of a hotel for 3 months. And like you said, I'm going to be like a rock star where I'm living on the road for the next 3 months. So my home games is really a road game still to me. I just want to know how mentally prepared that team will be, just because they got to play on the road all year long. They're going to be on the road all year long. So I want to know how that affects. I want to definitely see how that affects that team. I know they're mentally tough. They got a good coach. Um, I actually think Toronto's going to take a step back anyway because they lost a couple of pieces, and they got older. So I think, like you said, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough for them. A real tough,
Yeah.
tough time. Tough.
Definitely gonna be a tough challenge for them.
Yeah, tough challenge for them. So, like I said, open the joint. Right off the bat, I'm looking at the December 23rd games. One that I like that Boston Milwaukee matchup. I like that Toronto New Orleans. That's going to be a good matchup. They got good matchups on the 20 in the 23rd slot. Good matchups on the December 23rd. Like I said, Philly, Washington, New York. I think the Pacers. I don't know if the. How you feel about the Pacers? You think the Pacers going to take a step back?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
I don't know how.
If Vic's healthy, no.
Mm-hmm.
If Vic comes back healthy, Sabonis is going to come back healthy. Brogdon can stay healthy. I think I still think they're a threat.
Yeah, and with TJ Warren turning into TJ Warren, bubble TJ Warren. We'll see. Like I said, we'll do our picks and we'll see. Talk about those games. I like the schedule, man. Like I said, a couple of the big games was the MLK week. KD going back to the Bay. I think that's gonna be that'll be big for them. Or a big game for the NBA. How you feel about them releasing the schedule in 2 parts?
A big deal.
I like it. I love it. You know what I mean? Because I think it's forward thinking. Just in case something happens, you don't want to have to be scrambling to try to piece together a season. They will see how the first half goes, see if they get through that, and then they'll release it. Release it afterwards. I think it's great because it's like I think it's great for the league. I don't know how if it's like kind of how it is for the players because now the players would have to adjust on the fly. You know what I mean? They have to adjust on the fly, whatever arrangement that they would have, where they could figure out the rest of their 6 months in advance if they had the full schedule. Now they only got to figure out 3 months and then move into figuring out the next half, the next phase.
But, yeah, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it'll be that tough on. I think it'd be tougher on management, coordinating everything. I think that's going to be the toughest part. I think the players will be fine, but I think the league is just they're trying to avoid what the NFL is going through.
Mm-hmm. And I love it.
The NFL might be in week 18 or week 19, and with the way that the COVID is being spread right now, so who knows? But
yeah. I love the forward thinking from Adam Silver. As usual, they're always ahead. They're always thinking 2 steps ahead. So I love it. I mean, shout out to Adam Silver, shout out to Chris Paul. They're doing their thing. Yeah, Adam Silver. Like, man, who is Adam Silver? The commissioner? Yeah, Adam Silver, the commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
What? I want to say this real quick, briefly. We don't talk about a lot of hockey on this show, but I wanted to say it because it's breaking news. I mean, pop up. The NHL has talked about a preliminary schedule mid January, which is cool because as much as we don't talk about hockey, it is big, one of the 4 major sports, and I think that's good that they're actually going to actually have their season or attempt to have their season. So.
Now, to me, I think they have the best approach of everybody because right now we're seeing a rampant uptick with the COVID situation because of Thanksgiving. I do think Christmas and New Year's is probably going to have the same type of impact. So,
Mm-hmm.
because people go to travel and see one another. So, I think trying to start in mid January is probably best because then the NBA had all of those positive tests on day one of training camp. So,
9%.
so we'll see.
Hey, listen. What I want to say real quick again. I'm a fan, Sixers fan. So I'm gonna talk about him. But I love what Ben Simmons said. Ben Simmons said that he's trying to get a closer relationship with on and off court with Joel Embiid. I think that's going to be huge for them this year. Um, if they can get their on court chemistry and come back better, man, I'm gonna pick them. I'm gonna tell you where they are in our show in our who where we position them in our show that show. But I like it though. I like that if they build that chemistry on and off court, and they are focused, which they're talking about right now. Tobias Harris said this is the most focused the team has been um, in a while. It wasn't no accountability on that team later on in the season. If they can come back focused, like they got unfinished business, I like the team's chances, man.
Yeah,
With the potential.
definitely. They are still one of the best duos in the entire league.
I agree. All right. Some other pieces of news: AD signed 5 years, 190 million. Thoughts?
No surprise. As much as we were, anticipating this big courting, I didn't hear anything.
I hear none either.
I felt like it was just a big show for nothing. So, he's who's his agent?
Rich Paul.
He wasn't going nowhere. He wasn't going nowhere. So I just feel like they've put themselves in a position now where AD is there for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
And they've also put themselves in a position with the LeBron signing where they are they can sign another big star next summer. So just in case things don't work out, or if things do work out, they can still go out and sign another guy. I think they're just putting themselves in a position after LeBron or the Lakers. So
I agree with you. The being able to sign another big star, that's huge. Shout out to that organization. I don't know if it's LeBron or Rob Pelinka, but I'm gonna give Rob Pelinka his credit because he is the GM, the basketball operations guy. So I wanted to shout out to that. The only thing that is surprising to me with the AD contract is it's a 5-year deal, where LeBron's is a 3-year deal. So that tells me that AD is probably going to be a Laker for the rest of his career, maybe barring, some fallout with management. Where LeBron has an opt out after 3 years, AD's still going to be there for 2 more years. Is like who I want to see how that plays out, because with the Lakers they talk about championships. That's what it is, championships. If LeBron's not there with AD, who else is there with him? And we'll see that. I mean, I thought that was interesting, and I don't know if he has a player option or not after a certain amount of years, but I found out that was interesting. But I mean, it's his max.
Yep.
He got the max. All right, let's get to these college. Let's get to college. Let's get to college football. Should we start with the joint I sent you, the one that changed up?
Sure.
BYU, Coastal Carolina, big time game. This has huge implications for me for both teams. BYU, I feel like BYU thinking like LeBron right now. I want my damn respect. That's how BYU should be thinking right now. Like the disrespect for BYU is crazy. One, I can't even think of his name now. Quarterback name, Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. It's a first round pick right there. He gonna be a first round quarterback, maybe a top 10 pick. Boy is balling this year. If it wasn't for like Kyle Trask, he balling. 26 touchdowns, 2 picks. He balling this year. A lot of people don't. That's being overlooked right now. BYU's undefeated, and they fell. They fell to 13th. Actually, they fell to 14th, and they move up to 13th. I feel like they're disrespecting BYU this year. So I think that's going to go. I think this game, Zach Wilson should put on a show. He should put on a show this game, and make people say, "We legit." On the other side, Coastal Carolina being disrespected too. They undefeated as well. I think they actually had a higher ranking than. Well, no, they don't. They don't got a higher ranking than BYU, but they are
18th.
19th. BYU's 13th. Both 9-0. They both these teams got something to prove. Both these teams should want to go out here and put on a show. And I think it's going to be a high scoring. I think it's going to be a great game. It might be the best game. It might be the best game this weekend.
I'm hoping BYU wins. I'm picking them to win because I want them to win because I want them. I don't think Coastal Carolina, even if they beat BYU,
has a shot.
It's gonna move up high enough to get into a New Year's Six bowl. So BYU at this point, I don't think there's anything that they can do to get into the 4. So at least get into a New Year's Six bowl and get that money. And you being an independent, you don't have to split that money with nobody.
Let me ask you this question. I agree with you on that. I think BYU should be one of the New Year's Six bowls. But they got, like I said, it has to start today. It has to start with the Coastal Carolina, where they can't lose to Coastal Carolina. And I'm with you. I am picking BYU to win that game because I think Zach Wilson is probably the best player on the field, and they should prove that he's the best player on the field. And if you're gonna be a first round pick, you got to go out there and do these and win these type of games. That's how I feel. What other, like I guess I'm just scrolling through. I don't know if there's any other. Well, I'm lying. There are a lot of other matchups that are intriguing, like Texas A&M or Auburn. I think that's going to be huge. It's like what we said. Texas A&M is they're in a place where it's like
the way that this football season is going. The way this football season is going, I'm gonna pick Auburn to win that game. That's just the way that this season is going.
I'm with you.
I'm gonna pick Auburn. I'm gonna take Auburn.
I like Kellen Mond, but I'm not. I will not be surprised if Auburn wins that game. I was leaning kind of close to Auburn, but I'm gonna pick Texas A&M. But Texas A&M in a spot where it's like, man, they really just fighting for like New Year's Six bowl. That's what they fight for, and I think that win or lose, they're gonna be in that. What other game? West Virginia, Iowa State.
Nah, you said win or lose, they'll be in the New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah, I think that Texas A&M, win or lose, they're gonna be in the New Year's Six bowl.
I don't think so.
You think if they lose, they're gonna get knocked out?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I just think that they won't fall too far. That's my opinion. West Virginia, Iowa State. I think that's huge. West Virginia's tough. Vegas picked them a couple times to beat a couple teams that we didn't think that they should beat, but I think this is tough and a huge game because Iowa State's ranked 9th right now. Could they possibly jump up into close enough to if one of those other teams falter, where they can be representing the Big 12 in the college football playoffs.
They need a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
They need a lot of help. They just have to keep winning. They're home. They're favored. West Virginia's got a good defense. It's going to be freezing cold out there. It looks like it's 22 degrees. So it's going to be cold. It's going to be probably a low-scoring game. I'm going to take Iowa State because I want them to continue to climb and make this interesting. So,
yeah, I'm taking Iowa State as well. But like you said, I think it can be it can get interesting if certain scenarios happen. Iowa State could be right there and position themselves. I mean, to take one of those spots. Indiana, Wisconsin. Tough, man. This is tough because they ain't got their QB.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the backup is, but that hurt Indiana and Wisconsin. Have they played since they got smacked around by Northwestern?
Nope.
But they got a lot to prove. They got a lot to prove. They're in a position where they gotta really, really step it up if they want to try to at least get into a New Year's Six bowl. Because I think Northwestern only has to win one more game and they lock up the Big Ten West, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, but their game was canceled, so yeah. So I'm still gonna take Indiana. I'm still taking Indiana in this game. Indiana, I know they lost the quarterback, but they turn the ball. They turn you over. That's how they've been winning the game. They turn you over. I'm not impressed with Wisconsin. I think that Indiana does turn them over, and they go and get the dub.
Wisconsin is favored by 13.5.
Mm-hmm.
Sim Madison. I'm gonna take Wisconsin.
As you should, but I just think that Indiana going to turn them over, and they're going to find a way to pull this thing out.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yep.
Wouldn't be surprised at all.
Would I think Virginia Tech and Clemson, they're gonna get smacked. The only other game that's intriguing, and it's not because of schedule, outside of the Virginia Tech Clemson, I think Trevor Lawrence goes bananas in that game. Is Alabama LSU. And it's only because it's Alabama LSU. That's it. I legit think Alabama's favored by 30 points. 29.5.
In Baton Rouge.
And I think that's what's going to happen. I said, it's intriguing
I never thought I'd see a day where LSU was a 30-point home dog. That's crazy. A 30-point home dog. Gosh. Whew. Now I knew they weren't gonna be good this year. I knew they weren't gonna be good. But I didn't think they'd be a 30-point home dog to Alabama.
Does Gus, that's his name, right? No, it's not Gus. Ed. Does Ed get a pass for this year?
He just won a national championship. Yeah, he better. He better. He just won a national championship. So I don't understand how he could even be on the hot seat, given that he lost all that talent. His top receiver sat out the year, who's going to probably be a top 10 pick. What were you expecting? What were you
They were expecting.
expecting?
Clearly, they were expecting a winning season because they had them so high in the rankings.
See, and again, that's another thing that kills coaches, man. Those preseason rankings, it kills coaches. There was no reason that LSU losing the Heisman Trophy #1 pick quarterback. You lost Justin Jefferson. You lost Dale Pitt. You lost Queen. How are you like you're losing key guys? You're losing your quarterback of your defense. You're losing the best linebacker on the team. You lost. I'm pretty sure you lost a pass rusher or two. You lost. You pretty much your entire receiving core. I forgot about the running back.
2 offensive linemen
and a Heisman Trophy quarterback. Yeah, I forgot Moss. Like, what were you expecting? I really thought once Ja'Marr Chase said I'm not playing, I was like, oh man, they might win 6. They might win 6 games. They might be bowl eligible, but anything like that defense is terrible. The quarterbacking, it looks like LSU quarterbacking again before Joe Burrow had a good season last year. I don't know what else they were expecting. If you fire that man the year after winning a national championship, I don't know what else you're expecting, LSU.
This is why I asked the question. Because Ed is 59-40, I want to say. If I'm reading that correct. No, that's his total career. His LSU record is 43-13. 6-2, 9-4, 10-3, 15-0, and then now he's 3-4 this year. Is that LSU standard? Like we're talking about Harbaugh being fired. I know he went on national championship. But he has 2 10+ win seasons in 6 years with LSU. LSU, and again, he won the national championship. Like I said, LSU is talking about competing for championships. You think about LSU.
Yeah.
3-4. Regardless, he gets a pass from me. He lost 13 starters, bro.
I don't know.
13 or 14 starters.
He gets at least a pass for this year. Next year, they suck again. We can talk about letting him go.
Yeah,
but you can't let him go after winning the national championship
and
losing all that talent and then having a sucky year like that. Yeah. It kind of goes hand. They kind of went hand in hand.
I can say his team the players he lost was bums. Like you said, Edward, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he balling, and with the Chiefs. Joe Burrow, he was going to break Cam Newton's record with the Bengals. So,
yeah,
like you said, Ja'Marr Chase, and listen, we know who the best rookie wide receiver in the league right now is. Justin Jefferson. So, Patrick Queen, balling. He looked like a motherfucking stud with the Ravens, with your team. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
you lose all that talent. You got to get a pass. You have to get a pass, man.
You got to get a pass. And the program ascended to that national championship. Like, they won 6 games his first year because he took over like halfway through the season. Then the next year they won 9. Then they won 10. Then they won 15. They built themselves up to that. Like, yep. I don't understand it. I don't understand.
Like you said, he's.
But they can't be terrible next year. They can't be terrible next year.
I'm with you, but I'll say this: all depending on the class that he brings in. Don't put them high expectations on that team. Like that year that they had was phenomenal. You can't come in with that high of a ranking, and I understand why they did it, because they won the national championship. But when you lose all that talent, man, you can't have that high expectations on him. It was a lose-lose situation for him to have all that talent be gone and to be ranked that high, and then to be expected to compete at that level. It's like with Oklahoma. Oklahoma, they lost Kyler Murray and they lost who was the quarterback last year?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Like you went from Baker to Kyler to Jalen, and then a true freshman to a true freshman, and you had those high expectations, and we see later on, they struggled early on. Now that they're picking up steam now, it's just super high expectations, and that's just losing a signal caller. They lost everybody. Yes, yeah, he definitely got to get a pass for that. What else I'm thinking? Do I got anything else that I can talk about in college football? Let me ask you this question: with it being wrapped up, we ain't talk about the Ohio State Michigan State game. I think that's going to be I think that is going to be a super competitive game.
It's a tough fight.
That's going to be a super competitive game.
It's a tough
Ohio
fight.
State better.
Michigan State isn't as talented, but they're not gonna fold. They're not gonna quit. They're gonna fight. And Ohio State is not the well-oiled machine we're used to seeing them be. So
they better bring the A game.
I tell you what, this situation kind of gets cleared up though if Michigan State pulls off an upset. Like the college football playoffs, kind of gets a little bit cleaner in my estimation because it removes the what if Ohio State doesn't qualify aspect for the Big Ten championship. Doesn't matter if they got a one loss, so they'll just remove themselves from that. I really think the whole Big Ten will just remove itself from the whole college football playoff top four if Ohio State drops a game.
Which gets intriguing, man. Because like you said, that'll remove Ohio State. We talked about it. But who moves into that spot? Is it Cincinnati?
Should be.
Without like I said, without even having the conference champions. If Ohio State loses, who automatically just penciled in? Will it be Cincinnati? That's when
you find out how much they really respect a non-Power 5 conference championship. Because we're talking about potentially a 2-loss Big 12 champion versus an undefeated American champion. That's what it's going to come down to.
I guess that would be the committee's. If Ohio State loses today, this is the committee's worst nightmare. This would be the committee's worst nightmare because now they like.
But the dream scenario would be Clemson beat Notre Dame and Florida beat Alabama. Then they'd be like, "Oh,
dream scenario easy.
That was easy.
Easy.
Let's move on. Let's move
Those
forward."
Are the 14. Yep, that's easy. Real quick, sticking with college football. Who do you got as your Heisman right now?
It's got to be Trask.
Kyle?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's Kyle Trask. I think Kyle Trask is the Heisman at this moment. I didn't pull up the Heisman watch and see who was actually in it with him, but Kyle, who won it last year? Jalen? No, it wasn't Jalen. It was Joe Burrow. I think the last 3 Heismans have won number 1 overall picks. I think last year. Baker, right? I think Baker, the year Baker won, he won the number 1 overall pick. I think Kyler won it.
Mm-hmm. And then
Joe. Is there any scenario? Heck no. Never mind. Yes, there is one scenario. There's one scenario.
There's a scenario. What do you get ready to say? Where Kyle
is the number 1 pick.
He lights Alabama up in back-to-back games. and then lights up Clemson and outduels Trevor in a national championship. You light up Alabama twice, and then you light up Clemson, or it could be opposite. You can light up Alabama, light up Clemson, and then light up Alabama again, or you light up a Notre Dame defense. He could play him. He could play himself into that conversation.
I think that's
will it happen? Will it happen? I still believe that Trevor's talent and upside, he solidified as the number one pick, unless barring injury. That's it. I think Trevor's going number one.
I think the only scenario where Kyle is a number one overall pick is what you said. He flat out just takes over college football over this next month. You know what I mean? To where it's like he looks head and shoulders above, better than everybody else. And Trevor Lawrence decides that he's coming back. That's it. If Trevor Lawrence stays in the draft, I don't care if he lights up Alabama and Clemson and Notre Dame. Trevor Lawrence is in the play. Trevor Lawrence is the guy.
Yeah, barring injury, Trevor's still number one. I think Kyle can play himself into the conversation and make it interesting. But heck, we're talking about the Jets. We're talking about the Jets here. We're talking about right now Adam Gase.
Yeah,
maybe they like Kyle Trask more than they like Trevor Lawrence. Who knows? So we can always talk about who the number one prospect is overall. Well, that doesn't mean that he's number one on everybody's big board. So,
and that's true because listen, remember the year Baker?
Yeah, nobody had Baker going number one. Nobody seen that coming. People were saying it, but even the people that said it didn't really believe it. They were just saying it to make headlines, so I can get a couple of likes and mentions and shares. It wasn't really serious because when they did it, everybody was shocked and surprised.
Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield. Oh, really? Baker is the number one overall pick.
I thought it was a mock. I thought it was a hoax. I was like Roger Goodell, man. He pulled a Steve Harvey and read the wrong name.
Actually, and I'm gonna tell you, we lying because actually that year, no, Baker did Baker win it? Because Lamar won it the year before. Yep, Lamar won it the year before. Then Baker actually won it that year. I want to say. All right, we'll get the stats. But actually, right now, ESPN has Mac Jones as the number one in the Heisman watch.
Prisoner of the moment.
Is it Mac Jones?
Prisoner of the moment because he just lit up the Iron Bowl. That's it.
Are you serious?
He just lit up the Iron Bowl. Like tradition matters, and rivalries and everything, all of that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff matters. So
yeah, bro. Yeah. Kyle Trask has been the most. He's been the most consistent quarterback player this year. Mac Jones is balling. Mac Jones also has, and I'm not saying that Trask doesn't have a top 10 weapon on his team as well, but Mac Jones had 2 top 10 wide receivers. He got another wide receiver that's out there, and he got a running back that's probably gonna go in the first round, and he has defenders that. As much as I rag on Alabama's defense, Patrick Surtain is a number as a first round talent. There's a defensive end that Alabama has that's a first round talent. Dylan Moses is a first round talent. The offensive lineman, he got like 2 offensive linemen. Alex Leatherhead, that's a first round talent. Like they have all this first round talent on that team. Kyle Trask has, to me, 1 first round talent on his team, and that's Kyle Pitts.
Yep.
So Kyle Trask should be to me, he's the highest. He's the runaway. ESPN just doing this for They're doing this for for clicks. That's just how I look at it. That's how I feel.
I feel you.
I don't understand how Trevor's still in here. I don't understand how Trevor still has Zach Wilson.
Hey, that's
Alabama. I want to check something real fast before we move on. What you looking up? Heisman.
Nah, I was looking up prospect rankings.
Oh, that's exactly that's what I pulled up. That's what I'm about to pull up right there. Where they have 21. I'm looking up something real quick. Trying to figure out. I know mocks aren't always legit, but I mean some of them tell a story. What I find intriguing, the one I just pulled up, CBS just did their mock draft. It was 2 days ago, and they got Zach Wilson actually number 2 pick.
Going to who?
Going to the Jags. They got Justin Fields falling, and I don't think they have Kyle in the first round. One of the ones I saw, they had Kyle Pitt. They had Kyle. They had Kyle just making it into the first round, going to the Steelers. Now, can I say this? They got Mac Jones going to the Saints. I'm gonna say this real quick. If I'm Kyle Trask, while going first overall is lovely, if I get picked by the Pittsburgh Steelers or the New Orleans Saints or I'm trying to think of just looking at the teams back or somebody like that, I would rather that situation than getting picked by the Jags or the Jets or the Washington football team. Like if
actually Washington football team, I don't think that's a bad job.
It's not a bad job. It's not a bad job. But would I rather be in New Orleans or Indy or Pittsburgh?
Absolutely.
Those are my first options. Those are winning programs where I can compete like right now. Like Lamar going to the Ravens was the perfect situation for him. Perfect. It was perfect. Now we're looking at it in hindsight. I'm like, man, he could have been with the Browns and probably maybe had a better offense and a better supporting cast with weapons as far as on the outside, but perfect situation. If I'm a quarterback, man, I want to go into a winning situation. People will say, man, you can be the guy and you can be the play. Like if Trevor Lawrence had his pick,
you can be Peyton Manning or you can be Tom Brady.
I'm cool. Now listen, Peyton had the opportunity or he had the luxury of trying to build a team and he had to carry so much. So I don't know if Tom could have done that. Don't know if Tom could have did that. And like you said, I could be Peyton, who I think is the greatest of all time, or I can be Tom, who has all the rings, who many people think is the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? So, like you said, or it could be Drew Brees, who won the second round. Who I would rather go to a winning organization. Skip.
Yeah.
If the Jets is there, I'm like, man, nah, I'm good. I hold out.
The Chargers, everybody felt like the Chargers did Drew Brees wrong when they drafted Phillip Rivers and then traded him. They actually did that man a favor.
Yep. Won Super Bowl, won Super Bowl. He's a staple in the like. People don't even when I look at back at Drew Brees' career, I'm like, man, he's a saint. He played where? He went where? He did what? Oh, he did play for San Diego. What was that? College years? That's like LeBron. That's like a LeBron college year, like LeBron first stint in with Cleveland. Like Did it really happen? Like, was he really LeBron then?
Yeah.
LeBron became LeBron when he went to Miami, and like that's how people think. Like, was he really LeBron? Was he best player in the world, LeBron? That's how I look at it. But I'm with you, bro. I would rather be. I think Kyle Trask can play his way into a first rounder. And if I'm him, I would want it to be on the back end.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go into that one of these trash situations. All right, let's move forward with the football picks. Y'all just had we just saw y'all had the longest week, finished the longest week ever in football history. And I think it's gonna be another long week, in my opinion. Pick these games on tab. NFL games. You know what? I ain't even look at the rest of the games for college, but it's what it is. Hey, Saints Falcons. Do the Falcons have a revenge game in them?
At home, hopefully Julio's healthy and can play. Matt Ryan, he's got to have a bounce back, but the Saints defense has been humming. I think the Falcons put on a better show, but the Saints still win.
I'm gonna say the Saints get them this. The Falcons get them this game. Say the Falcons get them this game.
Is this the Taysom Hill exposed game, or is the Falcons defense not good enough?
I don't think. Maybe. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna tell you why I think is this. This could be the Taysom Hill exposed game because
it's a shootout.
If the Falcons got to put up points, and Taysom Hill got to match points, he could get exposed. So that's what I'm gonna say. If the Falcons jump out 14-0, and Taysom Hill got to drop back and throw like all game, yeah, he can get exposed because it ain't like he's not turned the ball over in his first 2 games. He's been turning the ball over. He's missed plays. Just that defense has been covering a lot of stuff up. So I think that could be I think this could be a Taysom Hill exposed game. Lions Bears. I got the Bears in this one. They still fight for a playoff spot. And being real, shoot, the Lions win this one. They put themselves in the hunt as well. So
I'm gonna go with the Bears.
Yeah,
I think the defense is good enough to win the game, and I really don't care who's playing quarterback for the Bears. When with the weapons they got, they can win.
I'm with you. I gotta go with the Bears in that game as well. I think the Lions make it tough. They are getting Kenny Galladay back. They're getting DeAndre Swift back. But I'm gonna go with the Bears in that game. Browns, Titans, battle of who's the best running back in the game. And I'm gonna get an edge to the Titans. One is at home. And they also pass the ball well. I like Ryan Tannehill over Baker Mayfield. Off of what off of how they run and how they do play actions. And they have the better triplet. They have AJ Brown, Corey Davis, and Jonnu Smith. I like those weapons over Baker's weapons. Nick Chubb is a monster. Derrick Henry gets stronger as the season goes along. Derrick Henry and the Titans I like.
Yeah, I think the Titans' running game is gonna be too much for the Browns to handle, and Ryan Tannehill makes enough plays for the Titans to win a home game against the Browns.
This is a get right game, and I'm gonna say this. I don't think the Cincinnati defense is anything to sneeze at. I saw they played a little tougher last week. Of course, I'm gonna pick the Dolphins, but I think it's closer than that 11. I think it's closer than that 11. Is Joe Mixon still out? I think Joe Mixon still out.
I'm not sure how I feel about this game because Tua's questionable. So this could be a Fitzmagic game. So I don't know. I know no Joe Burrow. I'm gonna take Miami because I feel like Miami's defense is probably going to be without Tua, Miami's defense is going to be the best unit on the field all day. So I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
Jags Vikings. I'm gonna tell you what's intriguing about this after we pick this game. I'm gonna go with the Vikings because they got a monster at running back. They got a monster at receiver. Adam Thielen is back. So and the Vikings, the Jags are going to be without DJ Shark. No, DJ Shark comes back, but they're going to be without Sidney Jones, which is crazy because people laughed at Sidney Jones, but he actually became a good player with the Jags. But the Vikings is just on a mission right now, so I'm going to go with the Vikings. Even though the Jags do have a monster running game as well. A lot of people didn't know who the heck James Robinson was at the beginning of the season. He balling. James Robinson is balling. So, but I'm gonna go to the Vikings. They're on the mission. They fight for a spot.
I'm gonna go with the Vikings as well. They are trying to get in the playoffs after that slow start. Dalvin Cook, he may not win MVP, but he definitely should be in the running for Offensive Player of the Year. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings.
So here's what I think is gonna be intriguing, right? Packers are 8-3. Bears win, they're 6-6. The Vikings win. The Vikings are 6-6 with a win. 6-6 with a win. The Vikings would be in the thick of the playoffs hunt. I want to pull something up real quick. So the Packers remaining schedule: Eagles, Lions. Yeah. Could the Packers lose 3 more games? They can. The Packers can legit lose 3 more games.
But what does that mean the Vikings got to do?
Win out.
No.
Or the Bears. Or the Bears got to win out.
No, the Packers got their division locked up.
I just say, hey, listen, they can make it intriguing.
The Packers got their division locked up.
All right. Raiders, Jets. Of course, I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders. But it's a lot of storylines, man. I don't know if running back. I don't know the running back is. You know what? I don't care who
Josh Jacobs is out. Josh Jacobs is out.
I don't care.
But it doesn't. It shouldn't matter.
It's the Jets.
It's the Jets.
Adam Gase. Yeah, I'm going with the. I'm going with the Raiders. Give me the Raiders.
And this is the interesting here.
I know you like this one. You like this intriguing matchup.
You like this intriguing matchup because you high on the Colts.
I am high on the Colts,
but you also high on Deshaun.
But I am high on Deshaun. Give me the Colts.
You already know where I'm going.
I know where you're gonna go.
You know where I'm going.
Colts, but Deshaun makes this thing exciting, and Vegas thinks it because they only giving them 3. They only giving the Colts 3. The intriguing thing is this.
This is a J.J. Watt game.
Okay. I think this is Deshaun Watson game. I think Deshaun Watson goes bananas in this game.
Deshaun Watson is himself, but J.J. Watt either forces a fumble or gets an interception. He does something to make a difference in this game and breathe some life into that defense. Because as much as we're talking about all these teams, The Texans are playing some of the best football in the entire league right now.
Can I say that? Can you pull their schedule up yet? You pull their schedule up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Colts, Bears, Colts, Bengals, Titans.
Can I say this? I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm gonna say this right now. I won't speak on it. The Texans will be in the thick of it by the end of the year. Don't know if they will make the playoffs. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. But
it starts this week.
It starts this week. I know I'm picking.
That's why I'm picking them.
I know I'm picking the Colts because that defense. But Deshaun Watson been balling all year. The looking at the teams, like you said, the Colts, the Dolphins can struggle because I picked the Dolphins not to make it. The Baltimore.
These two teams against the Colts is going to be the difference.
I'm gonna tell you this. Yes, what you just said, and they could possibly knock the Colts out, and they get in. It's gonna be interesting. They're gonna be in the thick of it, man. I know I'm picking the Colts for that defense, but man, Deshaun Watson ball.
No DeForest Buckner again.
And
no Anthony Costanzo out. I'm taking the Texans, man. I know Will Fuller out with the PED because of the PED use. I know he's done, but
they missing Hargraves. So, but you know what? I'm high on the Colts, man. I'm high on the Colts. This is tough for me. Give me Deshaun, man. Give me Deshaun. I'm gonna go with Deshaun because he's hot right now. Give me Deshaun. This one, another. This the game. This is the game of the week for me. This is the game of the week for me. Rams, Cardinals. That's the game of the week for me. You know how high I am on the Cardinals and Kyler. I'm loving the Rams. I think I picked them last week or the week before as the most complete team in the NFC. Then they lost to the 49ers. I got to go with the Cards. I have to go with the Cards because I picked them. I picked them to win. I picked them to win 12-4. They're already 6-5. I got them losing one more game after this game, and that's against the Eagles. But yeah, I gotta go with the Cards, man. I gotta go with the Cards.
I'm going with the Rams, man. I'm sticking with my Rams. I'm sorry, not my Rams, but I've been high on them. Jared Goff, he just can't. He can't make bad decisions, and he's got to make the throws that he has to make. That's it. That defense is gonna make sure you stand again. You're not gonna get blown out. You're never gonna be ran off the field and embarrassed unless the offense is just turning the ball over. Jared Goff makes enough plays. Aaron Donald roughs up Kyler Murray. Give me the Rams.
This is what I'm gonna say. My heart is saying Cardinals, man, because I picked them. But my head is saying you gotta go with the Rams. You have to. But because I picked the Cards, man, I gotta stay with them. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna ask you this. Is Aaron Donald the best defensive player we've ever seen?
No.
For me, he approaching it, man. He approaching saying, I know we had Dion. I really didn't see LT in his prime. Aaron Donald, Ray Lewis, I mean? Aaron Donald's up there, man. Like I think he's gonna win a defensive player of the year again.
You a Philly fan. So I know you've seen Reggie.
Nope. About time. Reggie, 96. The is when the Packers won their Super Bowl, right? 96. Reggie was on the Packers.
So what? He just left Philly?
Yeah, Reggie. So I seen.
I'm not saying that Reggie is like light years ahead of Aaron Donald or anything like that. But Reggie was just as dominant.
Yeah.
Reggie was just as dominant. Aaron is a freak because I think he has better attributes. You know what I mean? Like he's probably quicker, maybe a little stronger, but Reggie was just as dominant. Then LT, and it's just he was just light years ahead of everything. LT was built for this era, but he was just playing back then.
Yeah,
like he would be nasty. LT would be. I'm not saying he would be like average, but he would just be another great pass rusher in this era. He would just be another great pass rusher in this
LT?
era. Yeah. Back then, he was nothing compared to him, and the offensive linemen had no shot. They weren't quick enough out of there. The offensive lineman can almost take another step back now when they line up, all because of LT.
Yeah, they stronger. It's a lot. Listen, This is why I think Aaron Donald's going to win another Defensive Player of the Year this year. I think he could have won it last year. Yeah, Aaron Donald, that guy, man. So, but it's intriguing. It's a show. It's a show that we can do. It's definitely a show that we definitely should do. But or a list. Yeah, Aaron Donald is definitely that dude, man. He a problem. Giants, Seahawks. I'm gonna go to Seahawks. I don't think that they giving them 11. They might win. They cover that 11. But
at home.
Yeah, I like this.
They'll blow the doors off of them.
Patriots. Patriots. Chargers. Patriots, Chargers.
This is a head heart game. And then it's also trying to understand who Bill Belichick is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still believe that he's trying to put himself in a position to get a better quarterback in the draft. But I also feel as though he wants to make sure that he's putting out the best product and putting his team in a position to win every week as well and be competitive. I think the Chargers win this game. I think Justin Herbert makes enough plays to win this game. But it's close.
I got the Patriots in this game. They fight for a playoff spot. I also think that Bill Belichick's going to get a good quarterback wherever he goes, man. Like you said, we're talking about Mac Jones or Zach Wilson falling, you know what I mean, or Kyle Trask, you know what I mean. So I think he's going to get a good quarterback. I think he wins this game. Again, Anthony Lynn. I hate talking about my black and brown coaches, but I think Anthony Lynn finds a way to somehow, some way, mess it up. I'm with you. Justin Herbert makes all the plays. Somehow, some way, they lose this game. Sorry, Anthony. You gotta show me. You gotta show me. Chiefs, Broncos. Of course, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
Chiefs 3 touchdowns.
You got the Chiefs in 3 touchdowns?
Chiefs 3 touchdowns.
Who's quarterback in this game? Is it Drew Lock?
I think they said 3 other quarterbacks got cleared from
Drew Lock. So Drew Lock will be there. I like the Broncos defense. It is a gonna play tougher. I'm actually I can't remember if they played each other already.
But they play tough. They play that defense plays a lot better at home.
Mm-hmm.
They take advantage of that thin air up there.
Never mind. I'm sorry. Last time they played was 43-16. Chiefs by 3 touchdowns, like you said. I thought they played them tough last time, but really not. Let's get to this other game. Eagles Packers. This is where you talking about head heart game, and it's not even like my head says Packers, my heart says Eagles. Yes, that's obvious. This is where it gets head heart because I'm like, yes, I want my Eagles to win the game, but also wants to lose because I'm looking at my draft positioning, man. You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out if I really want I want this top 10 draft pick.
No, you should be wanting the top 5 draft picks so y'all can get Jamar Chase, man.
Listen, that's what I want. I want the top 5 draft pick. That's why I wanted to lose all the game. I actually wanted to get the number 3. I wanted to add the number 3 pick, the number 3, to where we can trade back. You know what I mean? Pick up some more assets. Because I think the quarterbacks is going to be first 2 quarterbacks, and then people want that off. People going to want the offensive lineman. So that's what I'm thinking about. Give me the Packers in this game. If the Philly faithful ever watch this, which y'all probably are, I'm still an Eagles fan. I'm a ride or die Eagles fan. I just want the pick, man. I just feel as though that no matter what we do, we can go on a 5-game win streak and get blown out in the playoffs. I want the pick. Because I want to make this team better for the long haul. And I don't know if making the playoffs at
it doesn't help.
For 11-1 helps. It doesn't help. No. So let's make the team better.
Yeah, Packers in this. I'm hoping it doesn't get ugly.
I hope it does.
I'm hoping it doesn't get ugly.
We need wholesale changes. I hope it's like 50-3.
Oh, you trying to get Doug out of there, right?
Not really. I just watched the article. I think Doug is a leader. I read an article about Doug this week. How the troops galvanized behind Doug. Right? They love Doug. They love Carson. So what I didn't hear in the article is how they love Howie. So I think if they come back, I want Howie. If not fired, he just needs to not be the GM. Just be head of football operations. No, don't even be that. Just be the cap guy. Just be whatever you was with Chip. Whatever you was when Chip Kelly was there. Go back to being that, please. Just be that. Yeah, I mean, be whatever it was when Chip Kelly was there. But don't be the guy that's taking over personnel because it hasn't worked out. Shoot, your cap work has almost not worked out because we about $90 million in the hole next season. So just go back to being the Howie that whatever you was when Chip was there. If we bring back Howie and Doug, I think Doug needs to give up play calling. He needs an OC that actually knows how to call plays, and then he can just be the guy that is the leader. And if Howie comes back, he just needs not to be the GM. He needs to have relinquished that. But if I had my choice to get rid of one of them, it would probably be Howie. I was leaning heavy towards Doug early on, but after reading the article, I'm like, they love Doug. The players love Doug. And I think Howie does his job too. I think Howie has gone out. He got wide receivers. He did. He went out and got wide receivers. You know, they were the wrong wide receivers, but at least he going down that path.
He went down the right path. He just didn't get the right. He just didn't come back with the right stuff.
Yeah. So, like, I just think they do their jobs. They work hard at their jobs. I just don't know if they're good at their jobs. That's what it is. I mean, I think they try to do their jobs. I don't know if they're good at it. But if I had to pick one to be going, it'll probably be Howie.
I feel you.
But listen, I'll say this about Doug. Doug tries to make Carson, like good coaches, put things in place that are best for their players. I think Doug said, "This is my game. This is my system. Carson, you got to go fit in that system." And that's where I knocked Doug.
I feel you.
So just like your boy, Greg Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Roman, give my man some help anyway. Dang, I thought y'all game was a Monday game. They moved that thing to Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Football team, Steelers, trap game. I'm gonna go with the football team. As much as I don't want to say it, I'm gonna go with the football team. One, I think they win the division. I think the football team wins the division. And it starts Sunday. It starts Sunday.
I think it's still the competition.
Yeah, I agree with that. And they got that. They got that front seven, man, that gets it that get to you.
Yeah, but Ben is leading the league in getting the ball out fast. I think it's like under 2.5 seconds. Like he's one of the top quarterbacks with that. So I don't even think the pass rush can affect him. I know it didn't have much of an effect on us. Like our pass rush couldn't get to him on Wednesday. So here's the thing. Their defense. It's the
Steelers defense.
It's the Steelers defense. I think the offense is going to be good enough every week to win a game. Ben's taking care of the football. They don't turn the football over. They don't take unnecessary risk. They can, if they have to throw the ball down the field, they can throw the ball down the field. They can move the ball in between the numbers. The running game is solid and good enough. It's the defense that puts them over the top. And I think Alex Smith could struggle against that defense. So I'm going to take the Steelers.
I just think they have to lose a game. And I think they're going to lose multiple games. All right. So, okay. So, yeah. I know I picked the football team, man. All right. Yeah. I'm going to change that. I'm going to go with the Steelers. Because I think we'll pick in the week we'll I'll tell you who I think they're gonna lose to in the weeks coming up. But I thought about Bud Dupree not being there, and I think that hurts that defense.
Absolutely.
Bills 49ers. Now you know this is my team. This the real team. I'm real super high on. Bills 49ers. I'm going with the Bills. They're giving the 49ers one. But I'm going with the Bills. I'm going with the Bills.
I went back and forth with this one. And I'm going to stick with who I originally picked, which was the 49ers. I feel like they're starting to get healthy in certain places. And it's gonna kind of get that team going. And they're still in the thick of things as far as a playoff spot in the NFC. So give me the Niners.
I think the Bills got to establish themselves as one of the best teams in the AFC in the NFL. They have to win this game. They have to win this game because I think that there's one team in the AFC that can keep up with the high-powered Chiefs, and it's them. There's one team that actually can roll out a defense that can confuse Patrick Mahomes, and it's them. And the Steelers. But I think the Bills can have a high-power offense, and they can have the corners and the defense to confuse Pat Mahomes. I think they have to win that game.
And this could
Ravens,
be a trap game.
Cowboys. Go ahead.
Coming into town. They who's coming into town next week.
You say who coming into town?
Steelers coming into town next week.
Oh yeah.
Potentially undefeated. They could be looking ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Bills got to stay focused. They got to stay focused. I mean, they can win this game. Cowboys Ravens. Do we even got to pick this game?
Yeah, we do.
Lamar get right game. And listen, Lamar said he's healthy. It's a possibility that Lamar may still not play, right?
Mm-hmm. He's still on. He still hasn't been activated from the COVID list yet. I'm expecting him to come off today, though.
And that game Tuesday. I'm gonna say this. I don't give a goddamn who quarterback. The Ravens still should have enough to beat the Cowboys. If Trace McSorley, I think Trace McSorley looked better than Robert Griffin III.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So,
most definitely. Yeah, the Ravens should win that game regardless who's playing on offense and defense. We have the depth to beat the Cowboys.
I just seen what y'all did against the Steelers with backups.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all gonna win this game. I also seen what the Cowboys did to the Steelers though, so so I don't know. But yeah, y'all definitely. I got the Cowboys. I got the Ravens winning that game. Before we close out, let's hop on that big fight tonight. Errol Spence Jr., Danny Garcia. Everybody going with Earl, right? Everybody rolling with Earl. I'm rolling with the Philly kid. Give me Danny, man. Give me Danny. This Earl big fight since the surgery. I mean, since the accident. His first fight since the accident. I think he's a little rusty. I think Danny got something to prove. Especially from Philly. Head heart, man. I want to go. I want to go, my man Earl. It's just so many unknowns right there, though. How is he gonna come back from that accident?
I've never been impressed with Danny Garcia. Never.
I agree.
I think he's a solid fighter. I think he's a good fighter. But the only thing that he's ever done that was impressive to me was the one punch against Amir Khan. That was it. And if memory serves me correct, Amir Khan was beating him up until that point. He was beating him up pretty handily up until that point. But since then, Danny Garcia, he's won a couple, I guess, some names. You know what I mean? He's beat some names, but has he beaten anybody that's legit? He lost to Sean Porter and he lost to Keith Thurman.
He lost to Sean.
You know, huh?
No. I was saying I thought he beat Sean. He didn't beat Sean. He lost to Sean Porter.
Yeah, he lost to Sean. He lost to Keith Thurman. And he beat Robert Guerrero, he beat Paulie Malignani, Lamont Peterson, Zab Judah, Lucas Batista. Like, he's beat some names, but nobody that's jumping off the page or at the level of Errol Spence or the Errol Spence that we knew before the accident. So
this is why he made this fight.
So this is a fight where both of these guys have to prove something, because Earl had the accident, so we don't know what exactly he's going to be. How is he going to handle being punched in the face several times after the accident? And again, I never take into account how you look against Sean Porter. Mm-hmm. It's all about whether or not you win, because Sean Porter's so unorthodox and his fighting style is so weird that it's hard to figure him out. So just win, and you're fine. I think Danny Garcia is a good fighter. I think he can put pressure on Earl. I think he has a solid chin. This is going to be a good fight. I think it's going. I'd be shocked if either one of them get knocked out. So I'm thinking Earl outpoint Danny.
I think that's usually how Sean Porter, not Sean Porter, Danny Garcia fights go. The fight that everybody wants to see. The fight that everybody wants to see is Bud Earl. So Earl has to win this fight, right? You think it's pressure on him to win this fight because that's the fight that everybody wants to see? And because he's coming off that accident.
And Bud just not too recently put on a show himself. Like, so yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure.
It's a big name.
I think there is a lot of pressure. I think there is a lot of pressure on Earl. You know what I mean? And you know, Bob Arum basically said he didn't want no smoke with Bud, and he been ducking Bud. So he's got to put on a show tonight. He has to put on a show tonight. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he got to go out here and knock Danny out, but this has to be a majority or unanimous decision. It can't be a split decision. It can't be on a technicality, or it can't be oh my gosh, like robbery type thing. He has to dominate and be the clear winner, whether it's by knockout, TKO, or by unanimous decision.
I'm with you. I agree with you. How Bud looked, Earl got to go out here and put on the show. And he got to knock Danny down a couple times. He got to knock him down a couple times. Not like you said, probably not knock him out, because that's usually not how Danny fights go. But he got to knock him down a couple times. If he knocked Danny out, oh yeah, okay, we need to see that. We need to see that Bud Earl fight ASAP.
Immediately. 2021, it needs to happen.
We need to see that thing immediately. But yeah, I'm with you, bro. Like I want to go. I do want Earl to win. The only thing that's like Danny is because of the accident and Danny from Philly. But if I had to put money on, I will put my money on Earl. I just say I want to see Danny win. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's just so many unknowns with Earl. I want to see the Bud fight. I want to see the Douglas Snake fight.
I want to see. I want to see the Earl Buff fight, but I also want to see it be Bud and Earl at their best.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see it past their prime. I don't want to see it where Earl not the same guy because of the accident. I need to see Earl at his best. So this is a good test for him, because Danny Garcia is a really, really good fighter. He's a really good fighter. I've never been impressed with him, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he is a really, really solid fighter. And this could be the opportunity for Danny Garcia at the same time, where he could step up and he could dominate this fight, which is a possibility because he has the tools. He has the tools to go out there and win this fight and prove that he is one of the best fighters at 147 in the world. Danny Garcia is solid. And I just haven't been impressed with him. And I think it's his opportunity for him. And then he can put himself in that. Bud, you calling out Earl? Well, you see what I just did to him? I'm the one. So, who knows?
Danny, you don't want that smoke. You don't want that smoke, Danny.
I don't know. If he go out here and he handle Earl, not hot. Like I'm not impressed with like the Amir Khan thing was not impressive to me. You were getting beat up, and then you got the one punch that mattered. That's it. That was it. That's not impressive to me. Dominate Earl Spence. Dominating. Because the last two times you fought a big name, you lost.
Who I'm trying. I can't even think of Kell Brooks. If he dominates, if Danny dominates Earl, he should fight Kell Brooks first before he fights Bud. That's just how I feel. He shouldn't just jump into.
I think Kell Brooks needs to go back up. I don't think he need to be fighting at 147. I think he need to go back up to 154. I think if he is the name that everybody keeps talking about anyway, because Danny go fight Manny.
Manny Pacquiao?
Yeah. If Manny is still the name that he's supposed to be, if Danny beats Earl, go fight Manny and then fight Bud.
Yeah. I just think
because people are gonna because if Danny beats Earl, they're gonna say it was the accident. Earl's not the same. That's the accident. So they're gonna want him to tune up against somebody else first. If Manny is still who everybody thinks he is, that's the fight.
Which is why I think it should be Kell Brooks, not Manny, because again, a lot of people will. There's going to be a built-in excuse with both of them. I think it'll be a built-in excuse if he beats Earl, because they say it's Earl accent, he ain't the same. They gonna say Manny older. You go fight Kell, and he dominate Kell. They gonna say, okay, maybe he is on Bud's level because we just saw what Bud did to Kell, and now Danny did the same thing to Kell.
Yeah, but that'll be like a few fights in a row. Keldon got beat up, so his stock isn't even that high anymore.
Yeah. It's great. Like I said, it's gonna be so many scenarios. I can hear Max Kellerman now, like, yeah, but Kell Brooks isn't the same. Like we seen Bud beat Kell Brooks in the 4th round. It took Danny Garcia 8 rounds or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so it's always gonna be something. You know what I mean? But I think if Earl is sharp, Earl has put on a resume that says I can go from fighting Danny to go and fighting Bud. I don't know if Danny has a resume where it says I can jump in from beating Earl just to go fight Bud. I think Bud is approaching Floyd Mayweather status.
Yeah.
So that's the show. We're gonna wrap it up with our final thoughts. My final thought is with boxing have that primetime fight tonight. What I would say, my final thought is anything worth having is worth fighting for. Figure out what you want to do, and if it's worth it, go fight for it. That's my final thought.
You know mine. It's gonna be the same until the college football playoffs either expand it or don't have it. And then I'm gonna start this campaign again next college football season, either expand it or don't have it. There's too many college football programs out there that are ascending and getting better and better. Competition is there's parity in college football, even at the top. So they've got to expand it or don't have it, man.
I agree with my guy. That's Speak on this show for today. Y'all know what it is. Go follow us on our Facebook page. Like us on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube page. If you got anything you want us to talk about moving forward, if you want to come on the show and debate with us, feel free to leave a comment. But until next time, y'all, I'm going to holler at y'all. Speak on it.
Peace.